Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to play a puzzle all about shifter lines. Now, you might be wondering, shifter lines, not heard of them before? That's absolutely correct. It's yet another Sudoku rule variant that's all about shifter lines, and you can see kind of almost like the signature 101, 102 that you tend to see from gUBBLOR. So no surprises if you actually think, yep, this is all about shifter lines, it's a new variant, and it's another gUBBLOR puzzle. Just a couple of things to say before I actually put up the puzzle. First off, gUBBLOR, I'm absolutely certain, was giving credit to someone else for the rule set, or am I just imagining this? No, I am imagining this. And given that gUBBLOR is already on, I think, 110, or, the 10th in the series of the equality cages, I had to apply, as usual, a bit of an artistic license to come up with something unique for what I imagine will be another phenomenal series from this phenomenal constructor. And when I thought about shifting, I mean, if you think about shifter, our friends across the pond, our Yank friends, they tend to call kind of the gear stick a shifter, but that felt like it will get boring very quickly. So I'm going to try and imagine what a shapeshifter could be. And I went with a werewolf that's just turned into a wolf under, the bright light of a full moon in the sky. Night sky, I guess. Well, enough of all of that. Let's take a look at the actual puzzle. So we have Shifter Lines 101, Introduction to Shifter Lines by gUBBLOR. Now, something that gUBBLOR did mention before I get into the puzzle is this is almost like a variant on equality cages. So if you haven't played those, I'll make sure that I link somewhere up here. The first equality cage I featured on the channel, I did say that there is already 10 in the series. I've only featured 4 of them. And if gUBBLOR is already starting yet another series, I may have to do almost like a gUBBLOR run, which, based on the reactions from this group, it's going to be fairly welcome to almost play catch-up with what he's been doing so far. I say he, I don't actually know. That's almost like a bad assumption on my part. So apologies to any female setters that may include or may not include gUBBLOR for that mistake. Right, what are the rules? Let's just focus on that rather than just continue to get myself into trouble. We have normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means place the digits 1 through to 9 in each empty cell. Digits must not repeat within the same row, column, or box. So every row, we need to have the digits 1 to 9, no repeats. Every column, and in every 3x3 box as outlined by these thicker black lines. I'm going to come back to shifter lines last. I'm going to talk about Kropki dots and XV second. So Kropki dots, many of you are going to be familiar with this. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2-to-1 ratio. I'm going to deliberately use, that's a bad one because that would actually solve the puzzle. I'm going to use this set here. So if this was a 2, this could be 1, as in 1 times 2 is 2, or 2 times 2 is 4. So that would be a valid pencil mark for this black dot couple or domino. We also have a white dot between cells indicate cells with a consecutive consecutive values. And not all dots are given. So let's take this white dot here and use the 2 example again. Actually, let me put the 2 down here. This has to be a consecutive digit next to the 2. So 1 plus 1 would be 2, or 2 plus 1 would be 3. And that would be a totally valid pencil mark for a white Kropki pair. The fact that not all dots are given means that nothing stops me from having 2 and 3 adjacent to one another without a white Kropki pair, or a black one for the matter. If that was a 4, doesn't stop me from being able to do so, because the fact that there is no black dot between them means nothing. We also have XVs. Adjacent cells connected with an X must sum to 10. So continuing with our 2 example, let me put it in here. If that was a 2, the domino cell in that X would have to be an 8 to make sure these two cells sum up to 10. When it comes to V's, they must sum up to 5. So continuing with our 2 example, this would have to be 3 so that the 2 and the 3 add up to 5. Again, no negative constraints, so nothing stops me from having the 3 down here with a 2 and a 3 next to it and no V's between them. Right, onto the shifter lines. This is what it's all about today, ladies and gentlemen. So adjacent digits within the same box on a shifter line share both parity, even/odd, and polarity, low/high. So in my example where I had this as a 2, this is a low even digit on this line, and given this line is continuing here within the same box, this would also be another low even digit, and that is only the 4. So that would force a 4 in here. Whenever a line enters a new box, either the parity or the polarity shifts, never both. So, using this example here, we know because of the XV this would have to be an 8. So notice I shifted the polarity, but not the parity. So I've now made this high even digits, and this side of the line now has to have high even digits, and that forces a 6 in here. Lastly, gUBBLOR finishes off by saying, shifter lines can never have a 5 on it, and digits may repeat on lines. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm very hopeful that this will be the start of yet another phenomenal series. If I enjoy this, what I'll probably end up doing is bumping whatever I have scheduled for the next video and try and get this new series featured on my channel first. Not that I'm competitive at all. Right, the only thing now to say is to mention that if all of this hasn't been too intimidating for you, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. And looking at this grid, I feel overwhelmed with opportunity in terms of where I can go. I'm going to take the easy start though, where I have a 1 with a white Kropki dot that can only be a 2. Notice this is now a low even digit. I'm going to use color throughout all of this, and I'm going to start introducing some of the color language in here. So a low even digit, I'm going to go with blue. A low odd digit, I'm going to go with green. So that has to be a 3. The other side of that, that's a V. That's got to be a 1 to make sure these two add up to a 5. Therefore, that's a 3 because they have to be green. Am I going to be able to continue with this? So this one, well, it's going across to this line. It can change parity, as in this ends up being 2 and 4, which it can't because I've already got 4 in the column. Or it changes polarity, as in this is high digits that are odd. And they are indeed high digits that are odd. This is 7 and 9. Can't have the 9 in the middle of a white Kropki pair. That's the 7, that's the 9. This forces 6 and 8 on either side, and that's the last color I'm going to introduce. Well, second to last color, I'll probably color the 5s. High even digits, I'm going to go for red. High odd digits, as you've already seen, I'm going to use orange. 6, 8, also 6, 8. This needs to change. This could be either same parity but high, which it can't be. The alternative would be same polarity but a different parity. So this is 2 and 4. This is clearly the 5. I can't, I'm essentially running out of colors in box 6 here. So this has to be 1 and 3. This has to be my last color, the 5, because again, 5 can never be 5, not a 4. And let me disable hints actually. Had to use this earlier for a tutorial I was doing on the Patreon channel. So conflict checker. I think it's just classic Sudoku is what I normally do. So 5, this needs to be 1 and 3. I think this will be correct now. If I put a 1, yep, that will flag it up. So hopefully it will prevent obvious errors on my part. Not sure what this is. I'll come back to it later. 6 and 8. In here it's 3 or 4 based on this. It's not a 3. That's a 4. That's a 2. This is blue. This is the 8 as a result. This is the 6. This is the 6. And this is the 8. This is going exceedingly well. Highly unexpected so far. Now this could be orange, as in 7, 9, or low and even. I don't know which it is. In which case this is 4, 7, or 9. I'm not going to color it just yet. What else do I know? I didn't mean to put a 5 in here. That's a 6. That's the 5 in this box. And now one of these is 1, 3, and one of these is 7, 9. The fact that 1, 3 are staring at this cell tells me that's the 7, 9 option, and this is the 1, 3 option. I know what the 7, 9s are. That's the 7, that's the 9, because of this 9 here. That's the 1, 3. The 1, 3 now needs to change either polarity or parity. It is not parity because 2 and 4 are not available. This is polarity with 7 and 9. This, the other side of the X, has to be 1, 3. So that's green and a 1, 3. For this to be a total of 5, this has to be odd. Sorry, this has to be even, given this is odd, to be able to get to a 5. So that's 2 or 4. That's 2 or 4. This has to change. It is either a high even digit or a low odd digit, which is not. So that's high even digit, that's 6 or 8. I've already done 2 blues, meaning this has to change again. And it's not 1, 3, so I can't do 2, 1, for example, because the 1 is not available. I could do 4, 8, though. So that's 8, that's 6, that's 4, that's 2, that's 4, that's 2. I thought I disabled hints. Conflict checker. Right, so let's try that again. Right. That's the only place the 5 can be, just Sudoku. That's the 5. That's the gray. This has to be the same color. That's a 1, 3. I am left with 7s and 9s. That's the 7. That's the 9. That's continuing. That's 7. That's 9. That's 1. That's 3. That's 1. That's 3. Lovely. Right. Let's keep going. I need a 6, 8, and a 5 in here. That 5 tells me it's not there. That's the 5. That's red with a 6, 8. Now, with the white Kropki dot, I can essentially tell what this is. This can't be a 6, because I can't place a 5 or a 7 already in the column. This has to be an 8, and this has to be a 9, because 7 is not available. That tells me that's the 7, because it's got to be the same parity, polarity. That's the 6. I need to change in here. It's either 6, 8, as in I change parity, which I can't because I already placed the 6, or I change polarity and it's 1, 3, and I know the order. That's 1, that's 3. That's light green. Let's keep going. I am changing here either polarity with 2, 4, which I can, or parity with 7, 9, which I cannot. This is blue and a 2, 4. Same thing in here, and actually quite interestingly, I need to think about this black Kropki dot, I suspect. But before I do so, do I know what this is? It's, 2, 4 or 7, 9, and these don't really rule out either option, so I'll park it. These black Kropki dots also change color, because these two have to be the same color. There's a maximum of 2 cells in the same box with the same color. As you can see, they're always in pairs. So these are some color, and it's not green, it's not orange, it's not red. This is blue with 2, 4. This has to change color. It's either the 1, as in 2, 1, or the 8, 4, 8. It is 4, 8. 8, 4, 2, 4, 2. Need to change again. That's not 1, 3. That is 6 or 8. This is not 2, 4 anymore. I've already placed it. So this is 7 and 9, and I know the order, but let me just color again. That's a 7. That's a 9. 6 and 8 means this is either 3 or 4, both of which is possible at the moment. Is it? No. 4 is here. That's a 3. That's a 6. That's an 8. That's a 1. These are green. These are orange. That's the 5 in box 2. That's not a 9. That's a 7. That's a 9. There's nothing in the rule set about whether these have to be these two have to be the same, or each one of them could be different, because in a way it's not the same line. It's exiting the box and entering again. So you could interpret it either way, that they're either the same color or they are different colors. So long way of saying I'm not going to make an assumption here. I'll see if I can figure out what it is separately. Let's do a bit of Sudoku and tidy up box 1. 1s, for example, are not in here. They can only be there. 3s can only be in here. I'm left with 5 and 6. That 6 tells me this is the 6, that's the 5, and let's fill in the blanks. 6, 3, 1. What do I have in here? I need an 8 and a 4, I'm going to say. Don't know what they are. I do know what these are, surely. 2, 5. More colors. I actually know what this is, because the 4 in here means there is no 4 in this row in this box. That's the 4. That's the 8. This is now 6 and 8, and I don't actually know the order of it. I do know that they're red. I have 5, 7, and 9 in here. I've got the 2 oranges already placed. So these are the oranges. That's the 5. I need 2 and 4, which again can't be in this cell. So that's 2, 4. That's the last red. Let's fill in the blanks. 6, 4, 2, 5. Don't know what these are. 7 and 9. Let's keep going. Actually, this 4 is looking at this 9. I can do that for free. Again, I say free, but, you know, took a bit of effort to get this far. What do we have in here? We've got a 2 and a 6. 2 gives me the order. That's the 2. That's the 6. That helps me with this. That's the 8. 6, 6, 2. I need 1 and 7. 1 and 7 give me the orders. 1 and 7. I need 4 and 5, it seems. Just, excuse me, colors, 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 colors. And it's good that I didn't assume they're the same, because they actually happen to be different. There's 3 and 8. 3 tells me this is the 3, this is the 8. And if I've not made any mistakes, that's the solution to today's puzzle. And excuse me, I missed some colors. Another absolutely phenomenal series, gUBBLOR. So I'm absolutely certain I'm going to bump this into whatever else I have scheduled for tomorrow's video. And get this out the door as quickly as I can. But what another phenomenal new variant from you. Pardon me, I realize you gave credit for equality cages to someone else, but it seems like this one, based on your comments, are your own. And it plays like superbly well. I think, you know, the 1 start here immediately forced a lot of things. So, I mean, it was always a continuously logical step. You never really had to think that hard about what it is. But the way that they interact, the way that you're having to think constantly about what color it is, recognizing that there is 2 of them, recognizing there are other boundaries that you need to sort of jump across in here. So I'm really looking forward to the 1 or 2 of this, hoping it's a little bit harder, where we're going to have to use that shifter line logic just a tiny bit more to actually start placing some of these digits. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video and the puzzle. I certainly have, and really looking forward to your comments about it. Bye for now.